Difference between semi-supervised learning and self-supervised learning. What is semi-supervised learning? Semi-supervised learning is a machine learning approach that blends elements of both supervised and unsupervised learning. It utilizes a mix of labeled and unlabeled data to train AI models, typically for classification and regression tasks. While it is often used in scenarios where supervised learning would normally apply, semi-supervised learning stands out due to its ability to incorporate unlabeled data into the training process, alongside labeled data. This approach is particularly useful when labeled data is scarce or expensive to obtain, but there is an abundance of easily accessible unlabeled data. In such cases, relying solely on supervised or unsupervised learning may not yield effective results. What is self-supervised learning? Self-supervised learning is a machine learning approach that applies unsupervised learning techniques to problems traditionally handled by supervised learning. Instead of depending on manually labeled datasets, self-supervised models create pseudo-labels from raw, unstructured data. This method is especially valuable in domains such as computer vision and natural language processing, NLP, where training high-performing AI models typically demands vast amounts of labeled data. Since labeling this data often involves labor-intensive work by human experts, it can be both time-consuming and costly. Self-supervised learning offers a more efficient and economical alternative by reducing or eliminating the need for manual labeling. In order to train deep learning models for tasks like classification or regression, the model's output must be compared to a known, correct output, known as the ground truth. Traditionally, this ground truth comes from human-labeled data, hence the term supervised learning. In self-supervised learning, however, the tasks are constructed in a way that allows the ground truth to be automatically derived from unlabeled data. Key difference between semi-supervised learning and self-supervised learning. Both approaches aim to reduce dependency on large labeled datasets. Semi-supervised learning uses a mix of labeled and unlabeled data. Self-supervised learning does not use any labeled data and is considered fully unsupervised. In supervised and semi-supervised methods, models rely on externally provided ground truth, labeled data. Self-supervised learning generates its own ground truth by identifying patterns within unlabeled data. Self-supervised tasks are often referred to as pretext tasks because they are not directly useful, but help the model learn useful representations. These learned representations improve performance on later, downstream tasks, for example, classification or regression. When pretext tasks are paired with supervised downstream tasks, the overall process becomes semi-supervised, combining both labeled and unlabeled data for training.